Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
It's Masters Week here on The Lock Shop. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. I love it, Huss. I am so fired up right now, buddy.
Tigers playing first major of the year. The Lock Shop has been hot, which has allowed us probably to make a few more frivolous bets than we normally would for Masters Week. Oh, I'm ready to go, Dusty. I'm ready to go for right now, and I sure as hell am ready to go for Thursday morning at Augusta National. Hello, friends.
A tradition unlike any other. We're very excited for this. I don't have the. Where'd you get that? Is that the golf tournament jacket that you get for winning your golf tournament? Is that what this is?
Some might think that I was just presented this green jacket for going back-to-back outright winners on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, but that would be wrong. Shout out to Chris Dickerson, who did it again. Oh, man, that was good. Part of the reason why there's already been so many pre-tournament bets made. But this is, in fact, a championship jacket from the MGI, the very prestigious Mo Gosselin Invitational one a few years back. It's it always comes out in early April, Dusty.
Looks so good, buddy. So good. All I have to roll with is a Golden Bears football tracksuit that my wife won't let me wear out in public because it's way too green head to toe. So happy to throw it on today. And we've got, what's that, Huss?
Is this a thing? Does she hate the riders or just doesn't want you to potentially identify?
She just thinks it's too much green, man. Too much green, but it's the most comfortable tracksuit head to toe. I love it. But I don't get to wear it very often. But we've got a dozen picks for you for the Masters coming up. We'll take a look at what's happening with Tiger as well. Great weekend. You mentioned another disc golf winner. I had a great lock shop on Friday, delivered another 3-game NHL parlay. So that was big. And Kansas, how about Kansas plus 1,200? There we go.
Just about needed to say. I saw some of the tweets flowing in last night. I had Arizona. They were out early, but the Dusty coming through for the Lock Shop with the pre-tournament, basically a blind March Madness outright winner of 64 teams. Big one last night. And by the way, just from a single game betting standpoint, I don't know if anyone jumped on that game, just wanted to have some action last night, but North Carolina +4. North Carolina money line was in the plus 170s, and they blew the biggest lead in a tournament final ever, and yet they still were able to cover the spread. A lot of disappointed Kansas people that had -3.5 or -4 that saw them win by 3. Although they were down by 15 at halftime, I'm not sure what you really could have expected in the second half. Win, maybe cover, I don't know. But anyways, always a fun tournament. St. Peter's, to me, was like what made it really fun, the 15 seed getting all the way to the 8s. But I'm just glad it's over because that means it's time to bet the Masters.
Yes, 100%. Just quickly to wrap up that March Madness final last night. My plan all day, and this just pisses me off. I got busy with bedtime and bath time with the kids. But my plan all day was that if Kansas was struggling early, I was going to live bet them. And when they were down 15 at half, I was just like, okay, I got to get my live bet in. And then I went and put Marshall to sleep and stuff. By the time I came back, they'd cut the lead to 6. I was just like, damn it. I didn't get the live bet in. So I was pissed because that was my plan all day. And I didn't get it done last night. So a little bit of a failure there. But I'll take the 12-1 hit on Kansas. And now we can say next year, remember last year when I picked the March Madness winner? Let's do it again. So that's nice. Yeah. All right, let's get into the National Hockey League tonight. And boy, there's quite the slate tonight to choose from. Huss, where are you going with your 3 games?
Well, I'm going to start this off with one of those quote-unquote scheduled losses. I will tell you this. Full marks to the Leafs for that win last night against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Austin Matthews, what a season he's having. But back-to-back games in Florida after a big win like that, going up against Florida, a team that has won 7 of 8, but that one single loss was a pretty decisive 5-2 win by the Leafs about a week and a half back. I think the Florida Panthers are going to be ready to make a statement tonight and take advantage of a team that will be exhausted from playing on back-to-back nights against a great team like Tampa last night. I would have hoped, I thought maybe the steam on Toronto might have taken the line down a bit on Florida, but I noticed that it hasn't changed from last night. It's still Florida minus 179. Anyways, they're going in. Probably, listen, that's not a bet I'll make a big single bet on. It will get a sprinkle, though, and it will be part of the parlay with these other two games. Two other games I really like tonight. The Minnesota Wild. This team, remember how bad they were coming out of the All-Star break, and everyone thought that maybe that first half of the season was a bit of a mirage. Cam Talbot was struggling. Well, maybe the best trade that was made at the deadline was the move to acquire Marc-Andre Fleury. Not because Marc-Andre Fleury is standing on his head for the Minnesota Wild, but it's turned Cam Talbot into the best goalie in the National Hockey League. He is on fire right now. Listen, they're going to take on a Nashville team that has, been playing fine, but I really do think that the Wild right now are on a real mission. And actually, the number is a little bit better right now. This may mean that Fleury's going in, but I was on the Wild. We'll stick with it. Minus 115 right now, so even a bit better of a number on that, taking on the Nashville Predators to keep on their run going. And then here's another one. The Dallas Stars have actually been playing quite well, but they have been playing the JV division of the National Hockey League.
Yes, they have. I'm glad you brought that up. I looked at them last night. I was like, they haven't played anybody.
They haven't played anybody. Listen, they've been getting it done, but they're now at home. This is the typical letdown game, first game home off of a homestand, and Dallas has never been a very reliable team to begin with, to be perfectly honest. And they're going up against the New York Islanders. Now, listen, the Islanders are done. Their season is over, but this speaks to what a great coach Barry Trotz is. He has them playing some of their best hockey of the season right now. And, the Islanders have gone up and they've actually beaten some real quality teams lately, and they're stringing some wins together. I mean, you look back, they beat the Devils, but, they shut out the Rangers, couple wins over the Blue Jackets, tough losses to the Lightning and Bruins. And, of course, they beat the Stars at home about 3 weeks ago or so. So I like this spot for the New York Islanders to keep it going. Plus 119. Always like to get at least one underdog in on my picks for Tuesday. So we're taking the Islander money line. We're taking the Minnesota money line. We're parlaying that with Florida against the Leafs on second night of back-to-backs. And we got this sucker over 500. We're at plus 514. And actually, this might be even a little juicier right now with the drop in the Minnesota line.
Yeah, I'm sitting at plus 458, and like I mentioned, I hit one last Tuesday. I hit another one on Friday, but they were in the 3-1 range. This one's a little bit more significant. And the last couple of parlays I had, I really probably wouldn't have played many of those bets individually. I'll be on all three of these tonight that I'm on, and I'm throwing into this parlay at plus 458. Going to start with the Edmonton Oilers, over 3.5 goals at San Jose. It's paying minus 118. The Oilers have scored at least 6 games in a row, and in 5 of those 6 games, they've scored 5 goals. So they've scored at least 5 in 5 of their last 6. You get them at minus 118 over 3.5 tonight against San Jose. Since Woodcroft took over, Connor McDavid has been absolutely lights out. It's like 44 points in like 25 games or something. The guy's been on an absolute tear. He's got Kane and Puljujarvi. They look absolutely dominant. Obviously, Leon Draisaitl. We'll see what ends up happening with him. I actually don't have an update on that. I was busy getting Lock Shop ready, but I don't care if Draisaitl plays or not. I'm on Edmonton over 3.5 tonight at minus 118 against San Jose. The Minnesota-Nashville game is very interesting. I'm glad you got on it on a money line side. I'm going to the total. I'm adjusting the total slightly right now. If you go to CoolBet, you'll see it at 6. I'm moving up to 6.5, and it gives you minus 132, which I'm still okay playing individually here. This is two trends clashing together. Nashville's been a steady diet at overs for 2 weeks. Minnesota's been a steady diet of unders for 2 weeks. So I'm moving up to 6.5. You mentioned Cam Talbot, the way he's played since they brought in Fleury. Minnesota has only allowed more than 2 goals once in their last 10 games, and it was a 4-3 game against Pittsburgh, I believe. Outside of that, they have not allowed more than 2 goals in 2.5, 3 weeks. So I'm going to side with the Minnesota side of this trend and take the under 6.5 in Minnesota-Nashville. And I'm going to go with a player prop to top this thing off. I'm going to go with Josh Norris, who's been red hot as of late, coming off a hat trick. I was going through all the games today looking at these player props, and I was looking for guys at 2.5. And then I saw Josh Norris at 2.5. I think he's had at least 3 shots in 4 games in a row. He's obviously playing with a ton of confidence right now. He's a power play beast. And they're playing the Habs. So I'm on Josh Norris over 2.5 shots at minus 139. Minnesota and Nashville adjusted to under 6.5 at minus 132. And the Oilers scoring 4 goals or more at minus 118. And it plays plus 458. So let's see if I can keep this heater going here.
Love the Norris shot prop. I mean, there's some money to be made on those, especially if you can get them in with some other good picks. And listen, it's hard to go against the Oilers. I got to tell you, we've seen a few coaching changes so far this year in the National Hockey League. One that didn't make much of a difference here in Winnipeg. A nice early boost for Vancouver. But I got to tell you, I'm amazed at the difference that Todd Woodcroft has made. And correct me if I'm wrong, Dusty. He's not an interim head coach either. I mean, they just promoted him to the new head coach of the Oilers. Right?
Yeah, he doesn't have a contract though beyond this year, so it's still technically interim. But he's not going anywhere, man. There's no way Woodcroft's going to be locked in here. He's going to get. I would assume he gets a 3-year deal at least at the end of the year. Like 5-on-5, they're night and day. Like night and day 5-on-5, which is just crazy. Like I wasn't sure the team was capable of playing 5-on-5 the way they are, but he's got them going, man. It's pretty impressive.
Hey, just one note from the Minnesota game. I can tell you it is Marc-Andre Fleury going tonight over Cam Talbot. So listen, Fleury's got a lot to show that, I mean, he can be the guy. I think he'll be really motivated to come out and have a great game. And he certainly has a team that's playing very, very well in front of him. So I think that's the reason, though, for the wild number going from 125 to 115. I still like him, and I don't think it's really touched the over-under numbers at all.
Major League Baseball season opens up this weekend as well. Obviously, we'll have a lot of lock shop double plays and things along the way with Major League Baseball season, but we'll give you some futures, and then we're going to dive into all of our Masters plays. Huss, we're kind of in different air. Well, we both agree the Orioles are going to suck, and you got to pound the under 62.5. But outside of that, where else are you going?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm starting it off with the Dodgers. And I mean, one of the things that I know we've talked about the money in baseball and how they're the haves and the have-nots. And to be honest, I think there is really an element of getting what you pay for at the end of the day when it comes to, the Major League Baseball season. And that's why it is very hard to go against the Dodgers overall. And to be honest, even though that number is really short at 5-1, I mean, I think about what the Super Bowl favorites are at the beginning of the season. And, it's right in and around this. This is what the Chiefs were at the beginning of last season. So when you look at the talent that the Dodgers have compared to everybody else in the major league, it's hard for them to list this number at lower than 5-1. But honestly, I think it should be more like 3-1. I mean, when you think about, their payroll, their rotation, I mean, they have, 4 or 5 MVPs in their starting lineup?
It's insane.
It is absolutely insane. So I won't waste time going through every single player and what they're making, but just take it to the bank that this team is so far into the luxury tax that you and I might be getting a piece of it at the end of the year. Dodgers 5-1 to win the World Series and plus 260 to win the NL. Listen, if you want to make some money on those are sort of fun bets to make. Maybe make a bigger bet and just follow it the entire season long. As far as the season totals, I knew you were going to jump on the Jays. I do like the Jays over 32.5, but I figured I'd focus on a couple of other teams. The over, and I'll say this, will recall when we first came out with the odds, I was on the Chicago White Sox as I thought that it was the best value bet of the futures. And listen, I think people have realized that the White Sox are going to be a contending team. They're in a terrible division, which is another thing that really helps for the in-season over. And they're now, I think, 6-1 to win the AL. I'm focusing on that run on the win total, and over 92.5 at minus 112, all in on that. I mean, they are in such a weak division with the rebuilding Twins team. The Kansas City Royals, as much as I love them, are probably going to be a 70-win team or so this year. And it does seem like it is the White Sox and everybody else. So I'm taking the over. And on the other side of things, speaking of cheap-ass teams, the Cleveland Guardians' entire roster, Dusty, makes less than Matt Scherzer does for the I was going through these payrolls last night, and the Cleveland Guardians opening day rosters $38 million and 310. And the craziest thing is there's 3 teams worse with less money spent over the course of the of this season coming in. 3 teams under $30 million, which seems hard to believe when we see players making that much money.
It's ridiculous.
It really is weird right now. So that being said, I'm fading some of these cheap ass teams that are going to be playing against good teams with basically bargain bin rosters. So the Guardians under where are we at here? Guardians under 75.5 at -102. I'll be honest, I was shocked at the +102s that were hung on both the Orioles and the Guardians for the unders. I kind of figured it would be the other way around because people would look at these numbers and go, there's no way in hell I'm betting over on either of these teams. Oh, maybe these bets are traditionally made by fans of the teams and way more of the action is on the over. They're trying to get people on the under. Anyways, I'm just saying these cheap-ass owners that are putting these garbage products out are not going to get any wins that they deserve. So give me the Guardians under 75.5. And listen, the Orioles number is considerably less. I think the next lowest total is the D-backs at 65 or 66. The Orioles, though, under 62.5. And in a 162-game season, we're essentially betting them to lose 100 games. I think that's as close to a lock as any bet this year. Think about the teams in their division, Dusty. You got the Yankees, Boston, Tampa, and Toronto, all with legitimate chances to be playoff teams and make noise in the playoffs. Guess what? That means the Orioles are going to be getting their ass kicked every series all season long with the teams in their division. Maybe they can get a few wins here and there, but I mean, this is essentially a AAA team playing in the best division in baseball. Give me the under 100 losses for the Orioles. Lock of the year, if you ask me. And 100%. It'll be fun watching them give up 14 runs a game. And, there's another loss, and we can turn it off in the 5th inning and move to another game.
Oh, the Orioles only have 21 wins heading into August. Perfect. We're doing all right. So, yeah, I love it. I agree with you. I think the Orioles under 62.5 wins plus 102 is just free money. So hop on that right now. If you've not yet signed up for an account at CoolBet, now would be the time. These MLB Futures, there's some juicy numbers out here. Just go to coolbet.com, enter the bonus code LOCKSHOP, all one word, and you get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. If you're watching on the live stream, maybe for the first time, make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Just search the Lock Shop. You laid it out with the Orioles. I mean, just the division alone is going to crush them. Blue Jays over 92.5. I love it. They had 91 wins last year, and we spent most of the year bitching about their pitching rotation. And they've gone out and solidified solidified pitching. Hopefully they'll have Springer healthy for an entire season, and they only need to be 2 wins better than they were last year. I don't know what I'm missing here, Huss. So I love the Jays over 92.5. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. They had 91 last year. They have a much better roster.
Yeah, they also played 130 road games.
Yes, that too. You're right. Yeah. Jeez, I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Then they were in Buffalo. Then they played. I mean, to me, the table is set. And I know that minus the 130 number is a little bit. I mean, to be honest, I'd prefer if the number went up to like 93.5 or 94.5 and we got a better odds number.
Close to even money.
I would play an adjusted line on the Blue Jays in a heartbeat right now, but that's what's up right now. And again, you know how this works. They're looking for sort of equal liability on either side. And I think there's a lot of people liking the over on the Blue Jays, and that's why we're up minus 130.
I'm going to fire a text to Chris Abbott and be like, can we just get like a Lock Shop Blue Jays extra love, 94.5 wins, and give us even money on it? Like, might be able to do that. Season. Yeah, might be able to do that. And then I'm on the Astros. That's the other one in the American League. Look, I sure hope the Blue Jays come out of the American League. They're the favorite, I think, actually, at 4-1. I cool bet at least in the American League. But the Astros are an interesting one to me. You're getting them at plus 1,500 to win the World Series, 7-1 to come out of the AL. They've been to 3 of the last 5 World Series, Huss. And I know they lose Correa, and you go, oh, well, what are they going to do? Well, the top prospect in their organization will be sliding in to replace Correa and is excellent defensively. Not sure where that bat's going to be yet, but defensively, I'm not sure they're going to miss a beat. And if you look at it over the last few years, they lose Garrett Cole, continue to win. They lose George Springer, continue to win. Now they lose Correa, 15-1 to win the World Series and 7-1. that I got to. I don't know if it's going to be a big bet, but I'm going to be on. I don't want to cheer for the Astros, but I just think there's some pretty decent value there for an Astros team that just continues to find ways to win.
Yeah. Listen, I, like most people, hate the Astros. And will not be cheering for them in any single game that they play all season long, for in all likelihood. But they've got a pretty good track record of winning, and I think because they are the hated team that they are, with the history that they have, I don't think a lot of people other than hardcore Astro fans really are thinking about betting them. And to be honest with you, what you've laid out, we're probably getting a little bit more value on these numbers than we might of a team that was a little bit more public than the disgraced trash can bangers from Texas.
Jackie O'Mackey on the live stream. I don't mind this idea either. Get Abbott on odds for the Jays over 99.5. Hashtag wagon. 100-win season. Let's get those odds up. That'd be interesting. That'd be a fun one to follow. I'd like to see what the number is on that, actually.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, our ideas might bankrupt Coolbet, because they just launched in Ontario. And of course, if you are gambling in Ontario or watching us from anywhere in Ontario, a little different out east now than it is out west. And I know there's the new site that Ontarians work, I believe, is coolbet.ca, but it's all there. But I mean, listen, if they're willing to take the action on those, there'd be a lot of people that will take those bets. I guarantee it, as Darcy said in the chat.
Gitch is already in too and says, I'd be in on over 100. Of course you would, Gitch. You'd be in on anything. All right, let's dive into the Masters. We got it broken down into two different spots. We kind of got the top of the board, and then we got a little bit further down with some longer shots, and that's what we're going to lay out for you today. So in total, you're going to get a dozen different names for the Masters in an attempt to track down this green jacket, and more importantly, a win for the lock shop. So, Huss, take her away, buddy. Where are you going?
Well, here we go. We got 3 picks from sort of 40-1 and under. And just so you know, I'll roll this out if people haven't seen this already. The favorite right now is Jon Rahm. No surprise that Rahm is the favorite. And I don't know why. Hold on a second here. I got to get my other screen up here. Masters. Here we are. All Jon Rahm, 12-1. Justin Thomas, 14-1. Then you've got Scotty Scheffler and Cam Smith at 17. Dustin Johnson at 19. Between 20 and 40, Victor Hovland and Brooks, 2,000 plus 2,000. Cantlay, McIlroy, Morikawa, Spieth, 22-1. Schauffele, 25. And then it goes all the way to Will Zalatorius at 40. I'm starting it off with Colin Morikawa. If there's one thing that we know about winning the Masters, is you need to have dialed in iron game. And I'm picking a couple of the guys, in my opinion, with the best approach ratings in golf, and Colin Morikawa is one of them. Now, the Morikawa number at 22-1 sticks out to me because, I mean, we were on him on this show when he won the PGA. I was not on him when he won the Open Championship, thinking that, well, you know what I mean, first time heading over there, how's a guy going to win that? Guess what? He's just that good. And when we combine the history of the Masters, now that he's been there before, albeit, you know, the first couple times, I guess, weren't really with fans or very different atmospheres. But Colin Morikawa has established himself as, you know, a top 5 player in the world. And in reality, a guy that really will, for I think a long time, be contending for the number 1 spot in the entire game. He hasn't had the huge results so far this year, which to me just tells me that he is due. And he's got the claret jug. He's got the PGA, 2 more than he needs to win. And there's nothing more special than one of these, the green jacket. So Colin Morikawa, 22-1. That was the first bet that I made. That is the biggest bet that I made. That is my favorite pick of the week. If I was being told to pick just one guy, I'm taking Colin Morikawa. Number 2, and it's funny, I started with Morikawa. I'm not as high on Scotty Scheffler, but you're damn right that he's in my 3 of top picks. Scheffler, first of all, got us off the schneid with the win at the match play. and he immediately became one of my guys. I mean, when you scout a guy at the Ryder Cup and say to your buddy, no matter what, I'm betting this guy at the match play because he was that good. We've got a special relationship, and a few things I'd like more than to see him, who is the world number one now, which is just crazy considering he never even won a tournament until about 6 weeks ago. I'm going up there. But you know what? Listen, he's played the Masters twice. He's been top 20 both times. And I don't need to tell anyone that's followed golf this year about his incredible ascension to the number one player in the world. So listen, he deserves to be up there. He deserves to have a short number. I would have loved to have had it a little bit less. But the facts are the facts. He's the best player on the planet right now, and he will definitely have a chance to win. I'm getting a piece of Scotty at 17-1. And then the other guy, and again, this is kind of a borderline favorite pick, but I wanted to put him in, is our guy Will Zalatorius. Now, yes, I have had some heartbreaking losses with Willie Z, including that playoff loss earlier this year. But I think anyone that's watched him play knows that he is poised to win on the PGA Tour. I'll tell you what better place to do it than Augusta National? Will Zalatorius was a rookie last year at the Masters tournament and finished second, losing by 1 stroke. So there was no fear of what's going on. I mean, I think he goes in knowing that this is a course that he can actually, really hang with the top players in the world. And again, it goes back to the iron play. I mean, for the same reason that I love Morikawa is the same reason why Zalatorius has been contending in all these tournaments. He sticks it close to the hole. And if his putter starts going, he will definitely have a chance to be in the mix. So, I mean, you might want to look at top 10s or top 20s for Zalatorius, or maybe a top 5. He was T2 last year or second place, but I'm putting him in on an outright. Love that number at 40-1. So those are my 3 picks from 40-1 or under before we get to some of our favorite long shots.
And we'll get to a few of those long shots in just a moment. I've got 3 that I want to lay out for you, including Cam Smith. And I know you're a Cam Smith guy, so let me ask you, did you consider Cam Smith? I know there's this trend, of people winning their last start before going into the Masters and not getting it done again. Like, I get that, but this guy has been lights out good lately, and you're getting him at 17-1.
No, you know what? I mean, for me, it came down. I just figured that I couldn't take Morikawa and 2 17-1 guys. It would basically be like taking 3 of the top 5 guys on the board. So it came down. I had to pick between 2. But I basically was picking between Cam and Scheffler. And Scheffler with the play. The fact of the matter is Cam Smith won the Players and hasn't played since then because he's been, he had his wife, or not his wife, his parents, his mother, and his sister over. Hadn't seen them in 2 years. It was a really, really amazing Players win and the emotion that was surrounded it. But I'm just really not too sure about where he's at coming in here. So I went with Scotty Scheffler, and it's pretty hard not to lean Scheffler with the way that he's been playing as of late. Of course, winning the match play in 2 other events so far this year. That being said, I was very happy to see Cam Smith on because, listen, I'll probably be tailing you, not an official pick, because I do want to be there when the mullet is back in the winner's circle. And it wouldn't all be surprise me if he does it here. He's had great results here before in the past.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, he's had outstanding results here. What's he been here? 5 times, finished top 10 3 times. Like, the guy has played the course extremely well, and he's playing the best golf of his career right now. So I looked some other places. Like, Smith was one of the guys that right away I was just like, okay. I said, well, but he just won 1. He's already got 2 wins this year. Like, is he actually going to roll this much? But when you combine current form with what he's done at this course in the past, I came back around to him. So I'm on Smith at 17-1. Xander Schauffele, I know he hasn't been playing great so far this year, Huss, but you're getting 25-1 on a guy who's been 2nd and 3rd at this event. I just can't get away from that. Like, he's been on the podium, if you want to call it that, twice, and you're getting him at 25-1 right now. So I couldn't look past the odds on Xander Schauffele, and he's been close in the past multiple times here. Maybe this is the time he gets it done. Maybe this is the event that gets his season on track as well. And then, as far as guys who've played this course well, I mean, we're on Connors a bunch already this year. Now you're going to get him here at 38-1. Obviously, it's a massive, massive tournament. But this guy's been top 10 the last 2 times he's been here. And as far as attacking the greens go, there aren't many guys better than Corey Connors in doing that. If his putter can give him anything this week, I mean, he can be in contention. There's no doubt in my mind. So you're getting him at 38-1 right now. I had to get a little bit of Canadian content in there for us.
No, there's no doubt about it. And you mentioned, I mean, T10 in 2020 tied for 8th last year. And again, I mean, for the same reasons why I love Morikawa and Will Zalatorius, there's a reason why Corey Connors has performed the way that he has so far at the Masters, and that is his absolutely sublime iron game. And listen, 38-1 is out there. Actually, we've seen a huge drop here today, and I don't know what's happened, but Corey Connors is back to 60-1.
What?
I'm telling you, I'm looking at it right now.
What?
Now yes, it's 60-1.
Holy smokes!
This has just changed in the last little bit. So
how would it move that far, buddy?
Some good value on the outright. Well, I'm not sure. I think it would have been a bunch of Canadians right off the bat that went in and bet it right away because it didn't open at 38. Like, it came down very quickly. Yeah. And now I think probably enough of the action has been spread out. They realize that number can rise up. What hasn't changed very much is his other bet. 8-1 for top 5 and plus 365 if you want to go top 10 and plus 125.
Love
top
that
20.
Bet.
So, the top 10 to get back in. I mean, plus money on a top 20 for Corey Connors. There'll be a lot of Canadians north of the border cheering for CC on the weekend, and with good reason. He certainly is Canada's best hope at this tournament, I think.
All right, what about some longer shots, man? We've got 6 more names for you. Obviously, if one of these guys wins, we're cashing big time, and you just couldn't get away from your boy, could you, Huss?
No. I want to give a shout out to Dubs Anderson, who does a bunch of stuff on Sports Grid, a very hilarious Aussie dude that had done some pro caddying and whatnot before. Had Dubs on yesterday, and I said, Dubs, I'm card-carrying member of Team Tony. I've been a little quiet on Tony this year because he hasn't had a great season so far. And Dubs convinced me that in the back end of the Valero Texas Open, Tony is back and finished up the tournament very well, trending into this tournament and another place where he's had some great results before. To me, these long shot picks, you need to pick a guy that at least has the capability of winning the tournament. And we've seen in Tony Finau in years past, when he is on and he's dialed in, he absolutely has the capability of winning this tournament. And, in the past, I think last year for the Masters, Finau was like 25-1. I mean, he was in that group of the favorites right now. So he's dropped away a little bit. I love the value with Tony Finau. There was no way he wasn't getting a touch at 60-1. Moving down, Sung J M. This was another guy that Dubs really liked. We talked quite a bit about him yesterday. I mean, when he's dialed in, his iron play is absolutely elite, has a very, very complete game, and has become a much more experienced golfer over the past number of years, playing everywhere, but also getting out to Augusta. I think he was a popular pick last year. I think some people sleeping on him a little bit so far this season, but has had some good results. So at 70-1, Sung J M is definitely getting a touch. And then this is the number that probably surprised me the most, Dusty. And maybe it's because Abe Answer pulled out of the Valero Texas Open. I mentioned it potentially was a bartending injury. I'm not exactly sure, but he was doing that sponsored tequila mixing, and next thing you knew, he was out of the tournament. I don't buy it. I think that he had a long match play run in Austin, and I think he figured that he needed the rest. 80-1 on Abe Answer is a wild number. He's a guy that's won a WGC event. We've seen him contend in numbers. And for me, is easily a top 20 player in the world. I mean, I don't know what it says in the official World Golf Rankings, but he's a guy that can win anytime. So you're going to hang an 80 out there on Abe Answer. I'm definitely getting on that too. So I love the value on these 3 plays. I mean, again, if you want to have some fun and go a top 10 or top 20 and really run with it, because these are sort of all or nothings shots. But I'll tell you what, there's nothing better than hitting one of these. And I think I can make the case that all of these guys have the game and the ability to potentially win the Masters. And that's why they're on my card.
Yeah, I'll say that for sure about Henley. Like, I think Henley's capable of doing that. My other 2 picks are a little bit longer, but I'm going to go with Henley at plus 7,500. This will be Henley's a guy that I'll have money on for the top 10, the top 15, if I can get it. He basically doesn't miss cuts. The last time he missed a cut was last year's Open Championship. He's made the cut 4 of his 5 starts at Augusta, and he has 3 top 25 finishes. So he's already finished top 25 3 times here, and he's been playing well so far this year. In 6 starts so far this year, he's got 4 top 15s. So played the course well in the past, not at any elite level, but has played it very well, has been consistent with it, and has been playing well so far this year, and you're getting him at plus 7,500. So I'm on Henley there. I'm going to go Siwoo Kim, who won the Smith just won the Players, right? He won it, and Siwoo Kim won it back in 2017. Yep. So he stepped up and won not a major, but a big tournament. And he's kind of been sneaky. He hasn't been great at Augusta, but he's been sneaky good. Just a sec. I got his numbers here. He's made 4 consecutive cuts, and 3 of them are top 25s. And last year, if you remember, Huss, you remember this guy last year? He had to putt with his 3-wood and finished 12th. He was putting with a 3-wood early in the tournament because he broke his putter, and he still finished T12 last year. And he won't have to do that this year, hopefully.
That incident happened on 6 or 7. And he had to use the wood for the entire back 9 of that round, from what I recall. And got it.
And he still finished T12 for the whole event. So you're getting him at plus 100 or plus 10,000.
Big Siwoo guy. You're never going to hear a dissenting voice with me on Siwoo. Somewhere out there, Pat Mayo's loving it. He literally, there's the FOMO bets, always has to have Siwoo on, because if he does win it, you have to be able to do the Ric Flair type Woo! By the way, Charlotte Flair plus 450. Nice work. That was good. I didn't mind that. Bobby
that was
Lashley,
nice.
plus 135. Logan Paul plus 106 with the Miz. Yeah, there were some WrestleMania winners from our show last week.
Yeah, there was. That was nice.
And what a great show it was.
It was a good show.
I was WrestleMania right now. Yeah, I could be. It
was very good
for the next hour.
I was going to say, you got your show coming up here, so we'll have to wrap up. My final pick, I had Will Gray, who handles a lot of the golf coverage and the betting golf coverage for NBC. I had him on my show this morning. I said, give me a couple of long shots. And one of the guys that he laid out was Robert McIntyre. And he said, you know what, I might want to look at a couple guys from overseas. McIntyre actually finished 12th. Actually was tied with Siwoo Kim at last year's Masters. And he's finished top 10 twice at the Open Championship. So the moment hasn't been too big for a guy that's sitting here right now at 150-1. T12 here just last year, and then T8 and T6, I think, at the Open Championship. So, I mean, if you're looking for long shots, this is a guy who's at least given himself a fighting chance recently. So I'm going to hop on McIntyre here at plus 15,000. So
yeah, we'll sometimes you see a guy like that, whatever, throw $5 on it. It'll pay us $750 if it comes back the other ways. I mean, listen, I mean, I think like Brooks Koepka said, some of these big events, you have to sort of identify the guys that can win, because he, believes, and I sort of tend to agree with this, that in some of these tournaments, majors, super elites, you're really talking about a group of 25 to 30 guys that can actually win the tourney. And listen, if you can get the guys on the back end of that group at bigger numbers and they do it, you're coming through. But no one's going to be surprised if it's one of the guys near the top of it. Sometimes tough, though, to bet a 12-1 guy like a John Rahm. Even 17 on Scheffler was a little bit much, but he's earned the support after the win at the match play. Anyways, it's going to be great. And one other thing we should mention, opened earlier today, Tiger Woods playing to make the cut was even money. That's going to drop like a rock. I just got in on it at minus 105. To miss the cut right now is minus 120. I bet that ends up as almost a pick 'em, because people are going to want to be betting Tiger. So if you do want to bet Tiger to make the cut, do it sooner as opposed to later, because I think that number is going to get less attractive as we get closer to tee off.
All right, and then let me just wrap up on the Blue Jays 100-win season bet. I texted Chris Abbott mid-episode and just said, hey, is there any way you can get this? And he just replied and said, I can't see why not. So watch for a Blue Jays 100-win season bet at some point. We'll tweet that out, and that'll be a fun one to ride with, I think. There'll be pretty good value on that.
Absolutely. And time is of the essence, of course, because first pitch is opening day is Thursday. So pay attention to our Twitters. We'll make sure to tweet that out to everybody. And the adjusted Jays number, the 100-win season, I think there'll be a lot of people. I will certainly get on that, and get ready for a great year of Blue Jays baseball.
Haas, Winnipeg Sports Talk, 5 minutes away. What do you got coming up?
Well, we've got lots. Latest on the Jets. Jeff Hamilton's going to join us. We're also going to talk about the Jet prospects with Scott Wheeler. And then another great golf guest, the host of the Golflandia podcast, my guy Matt Wiley, is going to join us. We'll get his thoughts on Augusta, Tiger, and much, much more. Join us. Coming up in about 5 minutes on YouTube, Winnipeg Sports Talk. Hit that subscribe button. And don't forget, when you're going to subscribe to the Lock Shop on the podcast, you can do the same thing with Winnipeg Sports Talk.
We'll be back again on Friday, mid-Masters. Cannot wait. That's going to be awesome. Enjoy that first round Thursday. We'll be talking about it midway through the round on Friday. It's going to be amazing. Check out Huss on Winnipeg Sports Talk. I'll be talking about it tomorrow morning on the Nielsen Show. Yeah, Huss?
Hey, one other thing. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central, 12 o'clock Eastern, I'll be doing my annual visit with the Cool Bet boys, Pat Gregoire and Jake Boland-Moss. We sort of did our outrights here on the Lock Shop. We'll kind of get into more exotics. There's a bunch of group bets, top 5s, top 10s, top 20s. So all of that's going to be there over at the Cool Bet social channels. So maybe the best bet, go over to Cool Bet right now, subscribe, turn your notifications on. You'll know when we're live tomorrow with Pat and JBM with more Masters talk before Thursday.
And we'll talk to you on Friday. See you then, buddy.